So with an abundance of evolutions that we've got, I thought we'd go through some of the highest rated players that you can get and the best players you can evolve in FC24. Currently, we have got Finisher, Patrick Hu, we have Keep Up, Crossing, Crusader, we have Stop Right There, High Visibility, Keep in Balance, Growth Spurt, the beautiful Pep's Legacy, the FC Founder Upgrade, and also the FC Founder 2, Like a Rock, Team of the Week Upgrade still there, and also Budding Starlet. A lot of them are there for, I think, a fair few more days. I don't think any run out anytime soon, so most of these can be done, but there is a few that you would have had to have done previously. And the first one, as you can see on the list, is going to be Malin. A beautiful card. We do have an 87 already, which you can tell you do get a little bit more on the defending for his FC Pro Live version, but he definitely doesn't go up to the 89. I think this is a great card that you can get, and it just shows you that you can upgrade to a decent level. A 5-star Malin. He ends up with the Travella Plus thanks to the Finisher. Yes, you'd have had to have put him into the FC Founder 2 and Upgrade, so a bit of hindsight from it, and it's why I don't always jump on the evolution straight away, because naturally there is times where you can go back and, for instance, we've got Finisher now, we can add a player in later on down the line. He definitely isn't a bad one that you can do. 89 rated, some decent stats across the board, and you've always got to imagine as well with these cards is, even if they do get to them 90 standards, the in-game ability and also natural body type is going to have a massive effect. But Malin is definitely a solid choice. We also then have Wan. I kind of like including some of these cards. They are very shadow in the dark picks. Nobody's going to think this card could go from a 70 to an 89 with the hindsight of it. But what you can do, and this is just a perfect example, you had the Power Shooter. Now, the one thing that I didn't know is the paid evolutions, technically, they go to a level 4 evolutions, and it was sold to us as a max. So I believed when you got to this sort of card type where you've got the kind of gold on it, they couldn't be upgraded again. That is absolutely false, as we see here. You can actually, as long as they fit any sort of the upgrade, they suit any of the stat max, then naturally they can go in. So this card can go from Power Shooter, then into the FC Founders, then into the Budding Starlet, stop right there into the 86, and then into the Finisher as well, getting the Travella Plus. The one thing that is very interesting with these cards is apparently, I don't know the ins and outs, you can actually get 2 playstyles on one card. I'll cover that on a different video as I need to read into it a little bit more, but I have seen a card with 2 playstyle pluses. That I thought would be the game changer going forward and could be an interesting one. The only thing with cards like this is, are they actually going to be viable? Yes, the stats are unreal for an attacker. He's a 4-star, 5-star, but in-game, has he got everything you need? And again, with these, we've got Rodrigo, 88 rated, just a simple one of going from his 85 to the 88 with a Finisher. Now, when it comes to these cards, and this is where I'm interested in the evolutions completely, is the fact that we've got, for instance, Rodrigo's got an Inform at 86, he's got a Trailblazer at 87, and then a Team of the Group stage at 88. Now what you've got to think is, before Team of the Season, maybe even after as well, because I can guarantee we'll have a lot of evolutions there. Do we see a card going better than it? And realistically, if we look right now, we've got an 88, the Finisher is 500 FIFA points, or FC points, or 100,000 coins. Realistically, the 88 is coming in at 389,000. So even just with that upgrade, it just shows the worth of it. 100,000 coins plus the gold card value could get you something that is exactly the same as a 400k card. Naturally, I would personally prefer to do the evolutions. Then later on, we could evolve them again. Now, these are the cards that I personally would like to see more of, especially because when we look at someone like Elise, he's got great potential at Crystal Palace, but realistically, how many cards is he going to be given? Is he going to be given that outer performance-based promo? Is he going to be in a FUT birthday? Is he going to be in a Centurions team? It clearly shows that he hasn't. He's managed to work his way for one Team of the Week. Now with that Team of the Week, we can take him from an 84 to an 87. Now the question you've got to ask when doing these, because now we are starting to get 2 of them, which is always nice. I thought that would be a kind of a thing that we do get, an upgradability or repeatable factor for these, is that now we can do 2 of them. Does he make your choice? Could we see an 87 Elise before we get another upgrade for him here? I think this is a phenomenal card. The only thing we're looking for is maybe an extra weak foot. That again would be an extra, kind of thing that you could add to the card that just makes it so much worth with some of these evolutions, and it really will make your ultimate team very much your own. Now, this is a card that I thought I was very disappointed that I didn't do it prior, because we knew Alvarez was definitely going to get cards at some point, but I didn't think it would take so long for him to get up to the rating that the factor we can have an evolutions the same rating. And this is why picking something, and maybe even for the next game, I definitely will be doing a video on a full breakdown on how we can get the most out of evolutions for the next year's installment, is that we could take an 80 Alvarez right now, or right at the start of the game, put him straight into the 82. Yes, we might have to wait a little bit longer for the next level, but realistically, we could end up with like a 94, 95 Alvarez by the end of the game without having to really pay as much as what a 95, say, team of the season really comes out at. If he's going to be 800k on day of release, we could already be at that 91 by then. We can put him into the evolutions, then into the Centurion Striker, then into this finisher, giving him the Travella Plus, which is always perfect. He only literally needs a skill move upgrade, and we are absolutely golden with this. 92 on the pace, 93 shooting. In terms of a striker, that is one very, very good one to go for. Now, I do love this one. 89 rated in the total of it. We've obviously got the 78 in Brian. Love it. But in terms of the stats, again, a 5-5. Beautiful. He is already a gold type, so he already has... I always kind of like put them into categories that we have bronzes, we have silvers, we have golds. They all portray a little bit of silver mentality. Whenever you upgrade a card, whenever they go from, like, for instance, who is it? João Pedro. Even though he's a very, very good card, he was already kind of on the cusp of going into gold, whereas some players don't transfer that very well. And we've seen 70 rated cards get a massive boost all the way up to 88, and they are still absolutely awful. Whereas when we have golds to begin with, they tend to be better to go forward. With him, we get the 99 agility, great composure, shooting's phenomenal, pace is decent. The card itself is a lovely one, and it's also prem. For this one, it was the FC Founder 2, power shooter, stop right there, and then into the finisher. Then we have Felipe Anderson, a great 88 rated card going from the FC Founders 2 plus the upgrade into the finisher as well, giving him that 5-star, 5-star plus the stats to burn with it. With Anderson, he tends to normally get 1 or 2 cards throughout the year, but realistically this is kind of the step that would go for a card like this. We can add that extra upgrade to him. He's a great Brazilian going forward, as well as then the stats definitely to burst him in. And let alone with all of these cards, we can still add chem styles as well. So for instance, people are looking at a hunter with this that will totally max out the pace to 99. We get the 93 shooting. That's always brilliant in itself. Let alone then we could go with an engine if you really wanted to get more passing. You could go with a Deadeye to go all out shooting and passing as well, as we've already got the 93 on the pace. There is opportunities in a lot of these top end cards. And then probably one of the favourite centre backs right now, Crossing Crusader left back into the Pep's Legacy. Now the funny thing with this, before Crossing Crusader, you could actually make him a 93 still, but it was going through, I don't know if it's going to show me here, or was it only a 90? So this is what, no, that's not what a lot of people were doing. I swear you could go, could you have gone through the... Oh, no, it's through the Team of the Week one, isn't it? So you go... Yeah, there we go. So you go through the Team of the Week upgrade. So both of these cost FC points, whereas when we go with the other one is free, and the Pep's Legacy is obviously a paid one. I want to say that was about 350 points. Yeah, 350 points or 75k. And obviously with the Team of the Week upgrade, that was coming in with 250 points or 50k. Whereas now, because we've got another added on top, we can go with the free card. So obviously you can go through just the normal gold as well. We don't have to spend for the inform. I know his gold is completely extinct at 10k, but if you do manage to pack him, we can put him through the free Crusader left back and then into the Pep's Legacy to make him into a 93 rated centre back. That is phenomenal, seeing as though he again is not getting any cards. The one thing I would say with especially someone like an Alaba, somebody like a Saliba getting an upgrade, naturally EA are going to see, they know who's going to be upgraded. They obviously run their numbers. It's hence why we get max pace of something. It's not just a total upgrade. They know exactly who's going to be the favourites. When they know how to run a market to the level of detail they do, then they fully well know what they're going to do. And I guarantee we see a 93 and 94 Alaba before too long. Talisca, on the other hand, great upgrade from his inform, does take him one above the radioactive cards, obviously keeps the Travella Plus. I don't know what. Does he has a long ball pass. I personally would prefer the Travella Plus. I think that is a phenomenal chem style, but obviously as well, you've got all of these different ones that you can go with, let alone going with the 84 as well. We can still keep him at the 89 if you wanted to go through that Team of the Week upgrade, or you go with the 86, and again, we just go through a 1 upgrade into that finisher, into an 89. And I've always loved Talisca. I probably wouldn't go on an evolutions for him, purely on the basis that I know he gets a good Team of the Season upgrade. I'd rather go for somebody, for instance, like an Alvarez, that could be in contention of not getting a Team of the Season. Whether we see him in community, I think with Talisca, he's almost a guaranteed shoo-in. Now we've got a lot more in the league, potentially, that he could miss out on, but with Ronaldo in his team, it's more than possible. If your team's looking like this, then I have the place for you. Head over to U7Buy for all your coin needs. They're cheap, fast, and reliable, but make sure to use JT11 at the checkout for 6% off all of your coin orders. Now, a fan favourite of a lot of people, Pedro Neto. Now, he did require a few different upgrades if you really wanted to. Again, there is a fair few that you could go with, but say, for instance, this one, Dribbling Sensation into Midfielder Dynasty, then into the FC Founder 2, FC Founder upgrade into the Finisher. If we go on the second one, we've got Relentless Winger 2. Again, then there is less of a shout there, so you could have kept some of it. And I think, is that the 2 that we went with? Yeah, so they're the only 2 to get him into 89. You obviously can still make him into an 88 if you really wanted to. And this is the best bit. There is so many different ways of doing this. It isn't just one route straight through. There can be quite a few. So depending on what you're looking at, this again is a great card that's going to go forward as a 5/5 Travella Plus. It would be interesting to see when they do add that next playstyle plus, as I guarantee that will be its own evolution with no upgrade. It just adds a playstyle plus to them. Now, I was saying with Cole Palmer, he's definitely due to get some sort of evolution. We've got his 83 going into the 86 finisher. There is obviously plenty of others you could have gone with when it comes to the normal one. We could still pretty much get him to 85 prior to this, but you would have kind of gone through the silver route, whereas I think just going with just a 1 upgrade from the 83, that is definitely not a bad value in itself, and naturally we should see him going forward as well. Gives him playstyle plus, which he doesn't have prior to this, and obviously an extra little boost of a triple upgrade onto his card, which I think he's definitely due. Once he gets up to that 88, 89, I feel like that would be a phenomenal card to have a look at as well. Now, I was surprised that Saliba hasn't had anything more yet. We could have made him into the 85 with the rare defender upgrade, but with Keep Up, we can actually make him into that 86. And I think with Keep Up, I want to say it was free. I could be totally wrong. No, it wasn't. 350 points or 75k. What you do find when you've got slightly, I wouldn't even say meta, because he's very good, but he's not in people's teams, especially in the gold version anymore, but most definitely a more named player, somebody who has got a bigger name than most, especially being in the Prem. They tend to be in paid evolutions rather than free. It's not always the case, but most definitely they do handle that more. When it comes to this upgrade, we do have an 87 already, so it is holding on to the factor that we are going to see another upgrade for him. Then you've got to ask the question, does he get into the Team of the Season? Team of the Year, I think, is out of the question. I think most people that are nominated are not really in the evolution cycle. They've already got their top end cards already. But definitely with the 86, it's most definitely not a bad card to say he's only really got extra shooting, a little bit more dribbling. He's got, what, 4 extra composure on a card that most definitely is costing you 235k. I could go get that 86 for coins at 75,000, or just whack on £1.50 for the evolution. Now, this is something definitely to consider when it comes to it, because we saw it with someone like a Dante. When we've got cards that are kind of the lower tier in terms of what they actually cost on the day. So I guarantee on literally the triple threat, Kirby would have been going for 10k. Guaranteed 10, 11, 12k, just a minimum price at a literally a minimum. Now, later on it's a bit of a hold, but we have the same with Dante, who is 30,000 coins maxed out. There is no chance, everybody's there, and obviously there's going to be a lower demand of supply there because we just don't have her in packs anymore. So hence why the best of teams are going to become more and more useful. Now we can take her from an 86 into an 89, add the Travella, add the weak foot, and also give a 91 pace, 91 shooting. again, it's not terrible for cards that are coming in at the lower value. When we look at something like if we go into the Fire versus Ice, if we was looking at somebody like a Spinazzola, we're looking at a Dani Olmo. They are going to be cards that are 10k right now, but could be worth putting in your club. Maybe either as a profit, you could get 2 and put 1 on your transfer list if you don't have 1 untradeable. Because later on down the line, if you get a weak foot upgrade, you maybe get a second playstyle plus or just even an extra upgrade to make him an 89. That card absolutely tanks straight to max out price, or in Dani Olmo's case, probably goes up to like 30-40k and then drops down a little bit, as naturally the max price is not going to be you're not going to sell him for 190. But that is my point. We could potentially see an upgrade later on down the line for him. Now I think one of the most anticipated players in an Evolutions, because it never seemed like we were going to get an upgrade for him, but Kyle Walker got his keep in balance. And then the next day he got himself into Team 2 of Winter Wildcards. Granted, that is a centre-back version with a quick step playstyle plus, whereas now we have got the keep in balance. Does that actually keep the same? Did he have... Oh no, he has block. Actually, I definitely prefer keep in balance. So we can go into keep in balance, make him an 87. He can still play right back. Unfortunately, can't go into the centre back. And I don't think... No, we don't have no upgrades for that version. But when we come to it, whether you'd put him at centre back or not, regardless of the position of him, he's a phenomenal player. Very expensive on that one. If we was looking at the keep in balance, if I can go on to the evolution, that is coming in at a whopping, if I can find it, it's definitely one that's got 13 days left, 350 points, 75k. That is definitely more of a worth of a card, if I'm going to be honest, because naturally the next step up is going to be phenomenal for him, especially with the quick step. We get a weak foot upgrade, maybe a little bit more defending physical. That's going to put Walker right on top. Now I'm slightly ashamed that Pep's Legacy didn't have 2 upgrades, because Alaba is a phenomenal shout, but Cancelo's just as good. We've got obviously the 86 that I think has got evolutions, takes him to a 91 with obviously the left back version, or you can still play right back. But if you're going to go all out, we like a dynamic. That's the only thing with evolutions, is the base card is what the dynamic is. So if you do go with a gold, it unfortunately stays at a normal. Whereas if we go for the inform, granted, extinct, very, very expensive, he does go up to the 92, and he has a lovely dynamic and goes in with that incisive pass as well. A phenomenal card, and genuinely one of the better ones out of the Pep's Legacy. We do obviously have the Trailblazer as well. Unfortunately, none of these can have upgrades, but again, these can have upgrades later on down the line. So maybe if you are looking at one and you think maybe you've got, say you've got Cancelo right now, you've already got your right back, maybe you're going, okay, I need Maldini done, let's chuck one of these in. It might be worth trying to really grind out as many gold cards and keeping the specials for the chance of an evolutions later on down the line. One that could take him to a 94 potential. Now, I have no regret in doing this next one. I'm in the middle of Finish Kvaratskhelia from the finisher. He's going to be my first finisher evolution, and I've really kind of got into them now. As you probably can tell, I thought I wanted to kind of go with a bigger video on this, just to go through some of the higher rated ones, because naturally, we're now getting into some names. At the start, it was nice. We got some bronze cards. We got a Joe Bellingham going into an upgrade, but now we're starting to see actual names, a Cancelo, a Saliba, a Walker, Kvaratskhelia going into that upgrade, taking him one above what his best card is currently, but he's also a 5-star still. I will love the Travella on him. Obviously, he can play left wing, right wing, which again is perfect, and 89 rated. It's a nice starter for him. Even if he gets a team of the season, if I can get him up to 91, 92, I'm more than happy that later on in the game as well, once we get into footies, I feel like it's going to be a no holds barred of just unlimited evolutions to make everybody into that top level. But this is a phenomenal card for me. I had to do him. Is a brilliant 5-star. Then we have got the likes of Phil Foden. Again, one that is in for the future more than anything. I don't feel like he'd be a top of the table most definitely, but in terms of an inform, he's not really had too much luck yet. Team of the group stage inform, but we can make him into an 89. If then we're looking at kind of the final kind of selection of them now we're going into more very specifics. A great place to find any sort of player evolutions. FUTWIZ do have the top available ones that people are looking at, but I've always found when looking at FUTBIN, you can find the popular evolution players right at the bottom. You click it, and then you can obviously go with a specific one. If you're looking for, say, for instance, the brand new one, it takes about half an hour really to load up everything, but naturally you should be able to find quite a lot of them pretty early on. And then if we do go to all, this kind of fire rating is more based around, I'm assuming how many people are looking at it, so it's kind of in the demand sort of thing. So we've kind of gone quite far down already. There is some others that definitely suit the bill. Jota was a nice one from the very start with a 5.5. Ferran Torres being a great shout. We have then the likes of Ranieri, a 93 from the Pep's Legacy. Again, a 4-star, 5-star with great pace on him. Kolomowane is a sublime Founders upgrade. He's one that I've personally got at 88, and naturally we can keep going with him. Martinez, probably one of the best ones from Patrick Hu. That one is a phenomenal CDM. I've got a review on the third channel if you want to check that out as well. Link should be in the description, or just go and check JT11 reviews. But in terms of the upgrade for him, he was a magnificent 3 evolution. If then we have a look kind of at the bottom to kind of finish this off, we have done a lot of the high rated ones, and especially names, and that's going to be what everybody wants now. From the evolutions, it's all about the names. You can even get an 89 Sterling, last one I'm going to click into. Naturally you've got the power shot and then the finisher for him, but it technically makes him a higher rating than his fire and ice. That saves you 500,000 coins from the SBC. So again, sometimes it's always good to wait. It's especially when the one that really kind of, it did rub me up the wrong way when we got Stones. So we had Stones SBC, say yesterday, if we go in the format. So we had the SBC, which cost 200,000 coins, give or take. It was about 180 when he came out. The next day, so say today, we then got the 89 Patrick Hu. So we could literally get, and it gives you a CDM version. You can play centre back, but you can also play CDM. And in terms of the stats, we got 3 extra pace, 5 shooting, doesn't really matter, 4 defending, so don't get me wrong, there is a little bit of an upgrade on the SBC version, but it's the fact that that is a totally free card, so sometimes it is always good to maybe wait on the SBCs. EA know exactly what they're doing with them. If then we keep going down just to kind of the finales, we'll start to see a lot of the same, because the problem we've got is if there's different ways of doing them. For instance, we can get this Juan in a few different variations of evolutions. It will show you multiple versions as well. Gabriel as a 90, nice card from Patrick Hu. We then have Redmond coming into it. We have Kolomowane again. Lorente is still my right back. That was one of the better evolutions what we got from the very start. Otavia from the brand new finisher. Saliba, we've already gone over. Kluivert's obviously had a few. And Kunku's not really had too many, and he does have a higher rated card. Capdevia, that is a good one. Him and we'll finish off on these two, because I think they are kind of the last two that I mentioned. We do have a 91 Capdevia going into the Pep's Legacy. So if you're not quite finished on that Alaba, maybe you've got a Capdevia already, that is a decent left back upgrade if you're wanting to go straight from a hero to him. Obviously with the hero, he's still a relatively decent price, but he's not necessarily extinct. And then we also have, I want to say it's her normal heroes. We can then make her exactly the same, like Capdevia, from the hero into the 91 left back. So the Pep's Legacy is one of the ones that came out that was particularly a must-do. And that's going to be all the evolutions so far. We will make a full tier list next week, and we'll kind of go through a lot more, because there is going to be a lot more evolutions coming out. Let me know if you've managed to get any, and who is your favourite evolutions in FC 24. Peace.